calling you a radical. So, back to the Fukushima. We're going to flush the tanks fucking lie right up in your face. This is how weak the the world populace, well, especially here. You need to learn to speak American. America Vespucci spoke Italiano in Spanish. He never spoke the Queen's English. You've been so had on this. You know, it's amazing to me how they classified the word Fukushima. They classified Kevin Blanche. I mean, you think about that. You know, people say, well, you're the world's foremost expert on this. You know it. And I says, no, I don't know it. I am it. I live with it. I don't eat, sleep, drink it. I sleep with it. I went into a bone marrow transplant center on 11/11/11. Just think about that. On 11/11, what's the fucking odds? I have AML leukemia. Non-Hodgkin's lymphoma de novo. Chest split open, rip me open, pour me. I mean, I've been on this before it happened. The first video that even talks about this, these are full-blown out of their mouth. It's my video. You know, every day, 3,500. They've been dumping the whole time. You're going to listen to Forbes? You're going to listen to ABC, CNN? CNN? Honestly? How about Operation Foxconn News? Holy fuck. You know Zucker and Trump from CNN are fucking buddy-buddy. The only profitable thing that fucking that scumbag, dirtbag Trump ever did was The Apprentice. Oh my God. Yeah, he's a billionaire. You're fuck. A bugger lost over $1 billion. Up is down, black is. I mean, how can you go along and fucking listen to me? Nobody knows this like me. Nobody on the face of the earth. Nobody. Why do you think my view count's so fucking low? Why do you think they attack me? Go after me? Why do you think they classified me? They have been dumping every single day for 3,000. Why do you think the ocean's dead? Why do you think the fires raged over fucking the western United States? Oh, it's all coincidence. Why do you think the salmon have collapsed? The anchovies and sardines are down 99.6%. Salmon, smoking gun. The salmon. Oh, what? Salmon live in the Pacific Ocean? Oh, I thought they lived in river. I mean, so there's a really great study out that started popping up about 2007, 8-ish on the American psychic, on the world psychic. Different social scientists have used this study for decades and decades and decades. It was like right before I got cancer, I was still working on PhDs, blah, 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 before Fukushima happened, and I interviewed 2,000 people. What's your opinion of Congress? Everybody hated him. I mean, 2,000 for 2,000. Negative. Second question, who's your congressman and or woman? 85 people out of 2,000 got it right. I broke it down into professors, students, college students, postgraduate, and homeless. The demographic that knew the most, oh yeah, it was the homeless. Professors didn't know. I mean, I spend a lot of time with politicians, a lot. And the more I spend with them, the more I realize all they do is repeat on the right, Operation Foxconn News, and on the left, MSNBC. They're ignorant. They don't know. I mean, and some of these people are pretty damn educated, pretty smart, and they don't know anything. You know? So this study comes out. It's been done for literally hundreds and hundreds, long before the United States was ever a country. What is the number one thing people are reluctant to talk about? To strangers, to friends, to relatives, to anybody. It's always been their sexuality. Always, always, always. Do you know that fractured and changed in about 2006, 7-ish? It's their debt. Their debt structure. So it comes out yesterday, CNBC of all things, who orchestrated this fucking pyramid scheme. Jack Welch is in hell. The average American, now think about this, the average American, United States of America citizen, has over $90,000 in debt. I want you to think. I mean, the Ponzi scheme, and they think they have equity in their house. That's a sham, by the way, because when you sell the house under the tax code, you have to buy another house. It's a sham. I mean, the whole property tax thing, I mean, what a sham. That's where these municipalities get all their money. That's why the interest rate so falsely stimulates, and we have to service the debt. Why does this tie into Fukushima? It ties into Fukushima because of the same said subject matter about the mental capacity of the average weakling American. I mean, they dummied down the education system. It's like people say, oh, well, they didn't teach us that, they murdered all the natives. Yes, they did. I told one of my friends, where did you learn all this, Kevin? She's actually the principal at our elementary school. I was just sitting right next to you. We were taught all this, us baby boomers. We're just selfish. We just ignore. Echo boomers, that's a different story. They weren't taught it. They're drunk on ignorance and proud of it. Look, people don't even think nuclear reactors are real. I mean, I talked to so many people, I'm the guy that got San Onofre shut down without me. That's my work. Go ask Kamala Harris. I drove by that thing for years and years and years. I always wondered what it was. We called it Dolly Parton. Well, Dolly Parton's getting a mastectomy and they're bringing it to Utah. I says, that's a nuclear reactor. I got that scar. That scar because I used to be a peace activist. Tried that one. They think it's Godzilla. They think it's... Hollywood's done that number. It's the same clan. They're geographically illiterate. The peninsula in Russia. Now, did I call this again? Again, Kevin Lynch. So everybody's all over. Zarty is the worst, by the way. RT's interviewed me so many times, it's unbelievable. The only time they ever put me up is when I'm talking about social inequality. I'm talking about police brutality. Fukushima, and I've done really fantastic interviews with RT about Fukushima. I told you, they'll report it early. But as soon as Putin circles the wagons on the peninsula, this massive death zone, it wasn't petroleum. That's been freaking proven. It's Fukushima. I told you they'd circle the wagon. There hasn't been one peep at it. I mean, the Minister of Environment come out, we're getting to the bottom of this. Somebody's obviously cleaned this up. Well, I walked the coast of California. All of it. Not the Pacific Trail, the coast, where I was dying of cancer. All of it. I watched them come in with a military operation, clean up the Fukushima debris every morning. I watched them put freaking dishes, detecting devices. I watched Gina McCarthy crash Radnet. I watched Gina McCarthy become head of the EPA. I watched the handoff between Trump and Obama. Obama to Trump. Abby. I was at the White House at the election when he stole it. I was at the Trump Towers when Abby went in. I was there. I wasn't there when he went to Mar-a-Lago and blocked out the windows, but I've had whistleblowers tell me what happened in there. It's all the cover-up of Fukushima. By the way, I mean, what fools, these puppets called politicians. They think about it. Abby, he's the king cover. He's dying of cancer right now. He's on death's doorstep. Think about that. How about the head of the IAEA? Remember they covered that up. I was in Vienna last year. Remember all those interviews I did with everybody? Well, how can you say he's dying of cancer? Because he went to Fukushima. I talked to him personally, face to face, a couple years back at the UN in Vienna. Sandra told him straight up, you go to Fukushima, you'll die of cancer. They covered it up. Wouldn't report cause of death. Kind of like they won't tell you what killed Trump's brother. Or you can't even find Trump's brother-in-law. Try Googling that dude. Talk about scrub from the internet. It's out now. He died of cancer. There's well over 10,000 workers are dead from Fukushima, going to homeless, the distraught they use. The mob runs it. That's the Japanese Christian Coalition reported that in 2017. They make them sign disclosure contracts that, and they use the homeless, they use the destitute, they're using immigrant labor from the United States bombing, went off to Afghanistan to kill the Taliban, went off to Iraq to get a big went off to Vietnam to kill the Viet Cong. How nice is boogeyman? They invented ISIS. How does it work? Because the Americans cowards, home of the cowards, land of the afraid. They've lost their self-confidence. They've lost any critical thinking. Well, they're working too much. They're working 2-3 jobs to pay that $90,000 of fucking debt they have. Oh, but I got a house. Look at me. Fucking, it's not fucking who I am. It's what my neighbors think I am. I can prove it. I grew up surfing. I grew up skiing. I'm a good skier. I'm a good surfer. I won't go in the fucking water. If you go to San Diego, which I'm there, Tourmaline, I mean, literally, I've been at Tourmaline Canyon so long, I was there before the parking lot was there. You watch them. Watch them. 90% of them are just out there floating. They can't, but they're dressed up in the gear. They got an old retro vehicle. Same with skiers here. You go skiing right up here, Basin, sit in the lodge. They can't ski. That takes hard work. It's like reading a book. That takes hard work. It's like sitting down and doing some investigating and, cutting through the muck and using some critical thinking. Come on. They've been dumping the whole fucking time. Why do you think? So you're trying to tell me, oh, what do you mean the ocean's dead? I remember I had one of the lead biologists work for the fish and game in California when I walked on the coast. I spilled my water out of Gorda. And it was hot. And I'm like, oh, God. I says, what about it? And he says, I'm never seen the ocean so healthy. I'll never forget, I told him, you need to get the fuck out of your truck. And me and him talked for a long time, born and raised in California. He says, well, I do, watch him like you picking up the debris, and I have picked up. And I'm like, dude, look at these tide pools. So I took him over and we looked. By the time I left, he took one of my Pacific Genocide bumper stickers and put it on his state vehicle. The marine biologists that have argued with me up and down the coast of California, it's unbelievable. The Well Watching Foundations have argued with me. When I bring up Fukushima, their eyes just glaze over. It's kind of like a sexually molested female when she was young. They're not going to talk about it. They're just going to deflect. It's too hard. Okay. I remember I did an interview in New York with the Princeton Review and the other muck paper. But anyway, they both interviewed me simultaneously. And was it the New Yorker? No, it was, was it? Anyway, I started talking about my cancer. I was dying of cancer and I was sucked up. I was really fucking sick. And I remember one of the reporters says, well, we can't have this conversation. This is too hard subject matter for our readers. I'm talking about being in the bone marrow transplant center, blah, blah, blah. I says, no, you mean you can't handle it. Well, my mom had some cancer. I said, did you hold her hand while she was dying? I could prove because I invited people into the bone marrow transplant because my doctor's an anti-nuclear and they don't let people in. He says, fuck the administrators, Kevin. You bring in anybody you want. So I put out invitations. This is back when I was really in vogue, had lots of view counts, websites, radio shows. Nobody would go with me. They always say they'd go. But the two massage therapists, Megan and Melissa, that used to give me fingertip massages because that's an important part of cancer treatment is erotica. You need touch on your body from, if you're heterosexual, from the opposite sex, from fingers that have never touched you before. Oh, it's important. They went, spent the whole day. Should have seen them both just cry and break down for hours. It changed their lives. They both specialize now in cancer victims. You can't have deep massage. You have to have fingers because you'll bleed to death. The problem is we live in a weak culture. And the gun, that's the sign of the weakness. When you go get a gun, that's lack of confidence. I mean, it's purely lack of self-confidence. Well, they beat it out of us. Not me. Not me. You can only be hypnotized. You want to be hypnotized. You have to do the work. I've always known that. They've been dumping these tanks the whole fucking time. And if you want to go along, flee from me. I really don't give a fuck because I've learned my lesson. I have a tale to tell. I've learned my lesson well. A man could tell 1,000 lies. The light that shines inside of me, you can never take that from me. The trolls, the rats, what I've dealt with now, you have no clue. You have no clue. The United States Department of Energy, the NEI hired teams of trolls, viciously attacked me. The slander that went on to me, it's unbelievable. The threats to me, I used to get phone calls all the time. People telling me they're going to kill me. I got guns in my face. I mean, it was unbelievable. So fucking vile. What I've dealt with while I'm in critical condition with no money is beyond over the top. And my own government. And I'm the son of a Special Forces Marine who gave his life. Raised by an Omaha Beach D-Day vet. I've done everything. Give back to my community my whole fucking life. Raised by an old fucking communist fucking socialist fucking Mormon. One of the most famous fucking Mormons, well, one of the most famous men in the fucking history of the States, my grandfather, raised me. I was taught to give back. Oh, my other grandpa ran the church welfare farms for free. I grew up fucking picking tomatoes and hoeing fucking beets and fucking working for free. That's the way I was taught to always give to your community, no matter what. Always, always. Sweet. The light that shines inside of me, they could never take that from me. Oh, they tried. They tried. I have a tale to tell, and I've told it. Hope I live to tell. I've lived to tell. And by the way, they could try to take fucking... Noam Chomsky told me. He says, Kevin, you already accomplished it. They can try to stuff you back in the fucking bottle, but they're never putting you back in the bottle. Speaking of the light, here it comes. Peeking right over the mighty Mount Ogden, right on the peak. They're fucking liars. But this is the fucking king. You can pull the Iraq, Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction. That fucking epic fucking lie. The fucking Afghanistans did 9/11, that fucking lie. When we know it's Saudis, the fucking family. You can pull off all those lies, but you'll never pull this one off. I mean, because this poisoned the planet. This kills all. In the early days, used to call Fukushima the great equalizer. Don't give a fuck about your race. Doesn't give a fuck about your socioeconomic status. Doesn't give a fuck about your political fucking dogma. Doesn't care. It fucking equal opportunity mass murder. So, the fight goes on. You know. We can go in denial all we want, but, you know... Oh, curse his spite that I was ever born to set this fucking right. I watched him load my dad in the body bag. I watched him, the love of my life, Annika. I fucking held her hand as she died at 38 years old of Emma. She grew up in the Ukraine. I was going in and out of a fucking coma in a bone. When a doctor looks you right in the fucking eyes in the prime of your life and tells you you have 2 months to fucking live. You don't think it's either fight or die. I made deals in that bone marrow transplant. There's 44 of us in there. You Google Marshall Jensen. Maybe the most famous leukemia case in history. He's in the room next to me. I have a tale to tell. They hit it so fucking well. Man could tell 1,000 lies. The light that shines inside of me. All you fucking rats that fled from me, attacked me, you political dogma, Trump, Obama, all you political assholes that went along with this. You can never take that from me. Never, never. I have one thing none of you fuckers will ever have. None of you scumbags will ever have. I have the light. I've always had the light since I was a child. I've always had the fucking light. You will never take it from me. Never, never, never. Off to hell, dirtbags. Off to fucking hell. Stay in tune.